Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this message, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? Currently, brother Nashi, I'm still staying here in South Africa, even though my wife, she passed away. This was a very long time ago. But after my wife had passed away, I then started experiencing some terrible things that I am still struggling with, especially when I am driving at night. Sometimes I even feel like when there is a car that will be driving towards my direction because I am driving a truck. Sometimes I can actually even hear my wife screaming at me, and when she will be screaming at me, she will be telling me that, is it not far much better for me to drive straight into the oncoming vehicle so that I can just die? But when I think of my kids that me and my late wife had together, then it just makes me not to do whatever I would want to do. Well, what happened to me, my brother, is that when I came here to South Africa, my wife, she was still in teachers college, and I was the one who was actually paying for her when she was still in teachers college. When I started working here in South Africa, I was just working a regular job, but because I knew what I wanted to do with my life, I saved some money as well. Some of the money I could actually send it to my wife so that she can budget the money for me. After we had made enough money, she then told me that if I wanted, I could return back home, then I could get a driver's license. So I returned back home, and I then got my driver's license, and I returned back to South Africa, where I started to work for this other white guy. I was working on his plot. It's sort of like a small farm where he was planting some spinach and as well as some carrots. We used to go and deliver all of this at some local supermarkets. So whilst I was working for that farmer, I then said to my wife, I think that it is far much better that now you have completed like your teacher's college thing that she was doing, you should come here to South Africa. Maybe you can actually be lucky and get a job as a teacher. She said it is fine, even though she didn't want to come to South Africa. But later on, I convinced her. And when she came here to South Africa, and she then found a job. So what was happening was that my wife, she was staying in the city because she found a job at this other local private college, and I was staying there by the farms. And you know women, what they are like, because now she was just looking at me as if I was someone who was just a farm worker, a regular farm worker. And she was one who was staying in town in a very nice apartment, and she was working at a college. So at that college where she was working, there was another guy, and this guy, he was from Zim, who was a math teacher at that college. This guy, I thought that maybe he was a brother of mine because we shared the same totem. Even about my wife, I would actually speak with him and I would say, please, when I am not around, just look after my wife, because they were staying in the same neighborhood there by the suburbs. Little did I know that I had actually given him the go ahead to sleep with my wife, because what this man was doing was that he would just come and visit my wife at the place where she was staying. Then they will speak until they started seeing each other, and then they started dating each other. When they were doing this, they did this in secret because they didn't want me to know that they were busy cheating on me. I later found out this was through an SMS. One day when I had gone to visit her, she forgot that her phone, she didn't lock her phone, because now her phone had lots and lots of passwords, and her phone at that time, it was now having some problems like the charger. It was in those days whereby if your phone charger would have died, then you would buy that thing that they called a universal charger. So I had gone and I had bought a universal charger for her, and I said, okay, let me charge the phone for you. And she fell asleep whilst I was charging her phone. When I woke up, my brother, I don't know, maybe it was God who wanted to show me that my wife had been cheating on me, because I found out that after inserting the battery, it then switched itself on and it didn't require any password at all. All that I just did was to open the phone, and I started going through the gallery as well as going through the messages. People didn't even have WhatsApp. A lot of people at that time, they were still using Facebook and other social media pages. I saw a lot of messages that were on her Facebook inbox that pained me, because it seemed as if my wife and that teacher friend of hers, they were really enjoying whatever that they were doing, and I was now out of the picture. My wife had actually said that she felt something that she had never felt for me, and I knew that this was over for me. I felt so much pain, but at the same time, knowing that I had taken my wife to school, it pained me even more, because I was now like, what am I going to do now that I have taken my wife to college? Now she is a teacher. If I just get divorced from her, I'll be the one that would have lost everything. So it is far much better that I do something about it. So I then said to myself, I am going to pretend like I didn't see anything, but the pain was just too much. I ended up waking her up, and I said, fine, my wife, I know that you have cheated on me. She refused the first time, and she said that she didn't cheat on me or to do anything. Then I said, open up your Facebook. And after she had opened up her Facebook, after she had refused, she then said indeed she had cheated on me with that man who was from Zim, but they never slept together, but the messages proved otherwise. So me and my wife, we continued staying together after she had knelt down and after she had told me that she loved me. But ever since that day, I then said, instead of developing my wife even further, because now she was saying that she wanted to go to UNISA to further her education, I said, so we are not going to do that, otherwise you are going to dump me at the end of the day. I just wanted to upgrade myself. I started upgrading myself until I started working for a big company, a trucking company where I am currently working. So it is a cross-border company. So I used to deliver the loads either to Mozambique as far as Zambia. Whilst I was away, my wife now had another boyfriend, and because we had moved out of that area and she had stopped going to work, this was her idea. She said that maybe me going to work is the reason as to why I have been cheating on you. So she chose that she didn't want to go to work anymore. So she was now a stay-at-home mom. Then whilst I'll be doing the cross-border route, my wife kept on cheating on me. But now that I was like they going to different countries, I met another guy who assisted me after I had told him my story. He was also a truck driver. He said that he was going to give me some charms, whereby if I place these charms inside my home, then my wife, if she ever cheats on me, I was going to catch her cheating on me. I said, okay, give me the charms. So this charm that was given to me when I was there in Zambia, it was just an egg, and I was told that I was not supposed to break this egg until I had arrived back home. And after arriving back home, then what I had to do was to hide this egg in my house. Then early in the morning, before my wife could have woken up, I was supposed to take it. Then I had to throw it on top of the roof. Then I had to throw it on top of the roof so that it can be smashed whilst it was on top of the roof. But anyways, my brother, when I traveled back to Zim, and then I had another load there in Zim, and I collected that load and I traveled back to South Africa with that load. After doing my deliveries, I then returned back home with that egg. It was really safe. But when I was on the taxi, I don't know what actually happened, because then there was someone who was pressing on my back. Then I saw that the egg, it was broken. By the time that I returned back home, I saw that the egg had been broken already. So what happened after this egg was broken, my brother, was that it then became a snake. And this snake, it has been troubling me a lot. Even my wife, she died because she was bitten by a snake. And at the place where me and my wife were staying, it was in the suburbs, whereby finding a snake, it was something that was unheard of. But my wife, when she was fast asleep, then the next morning, when our neighbors saw that our kid was not going to school, because in that neighborhood the women, they used to rotate, like today you go with the kids to school, then the next morning it will be another woman. When they saw that my wife, she was not coming to collect the other kids in our street, they came and they checked up on my wife, and they saw that there was no response. When they broke down the door of our apartment, they found out that my wife, she had died whilst she was in bed. She had been killed by that snake. So people just thought that it was a random snake, but on my own side, I knew and I know what killed my wife. After my wife had been taken back to Zim, that was when troubles started for me. I keep on having a lot of spiritual experiences, and what troubles me is some of these voices that speak to me when I am driving. I can clearly hear my wife. She will be telling me, and she will be saying, is it not better for you to hit the car that is coming so that you can just die? Just do a hit and run. Why don't you do that? So these voices that I hear, they are troubling me a lot. Maybe at the end of the day, my brother, I am going to do something that I am going to regret. Please pray for me. I do try to pray each and every day, but sometimes prayer for me, it seems as if it is not working at all. Please assist me, because I'm really down. I don't know what to do anymore with my life.